Hello and welcome, and in this video I'm going to attempt to see if I can find some value in for Sunday's NFL action. I'm not even going to attempt to look at college football or college basketball because I got a long ways to go to get any type of decent edge in just me knowing how to research internet, research players, research teams, research situations and such. And their seasons, and well, basketball is still relatively early, and college football, it even shouldn't. Bowl season should be like I don't understand. It's been a different season. For tomorrow, I've already got. Let's see what the odds are. I haven't checked that or what I've got. I've got minus 117. I think on the over for or the longest reception at 18.5 yards for Robert Tonyan. Just gonna see where we are now. Long reception. Now minus 114, so a good price. Receiving yards 38.5. Reception still minus 138 the three, but it's now a 3.5. Oh yeah, it was 3.5 before. But that price is much higher now. I mean, so still great value over the longest reception, but minus 138. I still think that's okay value, but not as good as it was before when it was near minus 120. Okay, then let's take a look at what we got for the game. So let's just look, before I get the players, let's just take a look at, this is cloudbet.com. Let's take a look at Atlanta Falcons taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Home teams are on the left-hand side on this website. So we have a spread of Tampa Bay as 6.5 road favorites. Small vig, minus 109, minus 108-ish lines. And you can pick your number, which is great on that feel like a game. So you can play around with the numbers and you get good prices when you move it half or a point when you need be. There's relatively fair prices. Indianapolis. Okay, so let's continue on further. Jacksonville at Baltimore. 12.5 point spread for Baltimore at home in that game. Jacksonville is not a good team, but I really have a hard time really finding much for value. The Arizona Philly game. What's the over/under on that? Is it getting close to 50? Yeah, 49.5. I want to go over it, but the number's just getting a little too high. But some of the things I like to look at is for specials, and it's just I can't really look at everything, unfortunately. Because, I mean, there's so much, so I kind of should. But you got like Alshon Jeffrey. I mean, you really have to click on every little thing just to see. And I'm not going to analyze every single player within the games that are going on in this one. Deandre Hopkins. I mean, there's not even any line on Deandre Hopkins for anything. There's for some other players, though. Greg Ward. The one that I was really interested in was this Jalen Hurts interceptions one. Ooh, down to minus 140. Not anymore. The over one. No, under. No. I am interested. I'm interested in the under. That's right. I was like, how did that line change so much? No. Yeah, my under 0.5, minus 105. And the reason why I like this situation is because it looks like Jalen Hurts is very good. Pretty much the opposite as Drew Lock of the Denver Broncos. Just not reckless. So the opposite of Brett Favre, historically, of the legendary Hall of Fame quarterback class. Meaning not that reckless or very cautious with the ball. But he did have a lot of one-game interceptions in his senior year in college. But he's only thrown one so far in about 70, 80, 90 pass attempts. I probably will go to DraftKings and look at players when I need to research different ones. Because that's the easiest way of getting statistics. Football Reference works well, and there's other miscellaneous ways of getting things too. I don't know which Philadelphia. There's really no players here that stand out. A lot of times I hear the no-name players. I want to take a look at them. I just don't really see too many. Zach Ertz is back. He's not that great, I don't think. 27.5 yards, 2.5 catches. That's not a guess. That's a really low line. So they're really pricing in the fact that he sucks now. I was just kind of hoping that they would give him because he's such well, not like majorly common, but over popular. Then when you got this here, this is where you got no vig, like plus 101, minus 102, or practically none. That's like cool to have. So I look at stuff like that. It's all about I mean, there's no Vega, and then all these alternate lines like -2.5, +2.5, so you can pick the spread you want. So you can play the hook how you wish. And if you really want to get technical, when you got lines like this, and there's practically microscopic juice now, then you can number crunch them and figure out how the best numbers, and even go over here, under here, or whatever. I don't know. I haven't read any terms and conditions on these games, but I gotta sure you'd be allowed to go over 50.5 and under 53.5 or something. If you wanted to play in any middles in that. Same thing on the spreads where you can play middle spreads. Try to hit some middles in there. So it's another way of saying I can go New Orleans, like say, let's just say Kansas City +1 and New Orleans -5.5, and say, oh, if New Orleans basically if Kansas City wins between 1 and 5, ties the game, you're gonna get a big win, and if New Orleans wins by 1, you get an okay win. Everything else you get a loss. That's just, you can actually do that and not get bad odds if you play around like that. Where normally, if you do that with vig lines, you'd be an idiot. Okay, so, and then you got these ones here, team totals that can go over under. Just take a quick look at these players in here. Like I don't even know who this Adam Trotman guy is. But I like that because then I can try to figure this out, because I'm not expecting much of a line, and no, 1.5 catches for 9.5 yards is what they're expecting. So this is spots like, what do you know about this guy that states he's going to be absolutely a complete no-show, which would mean you could bet the unders. Or he is going to make some catches. Heck, we're getting 3-2 odds on the 2 catches or more. So let's take a look at this Adam Trotman guy. We're talking Kansas City game. I got lineups ready. I got. Okay, this is. Let's just check out my. This is some of the lineups that I got in play. This is my big Sunday line. This is where most of the games are. So I'm presuming Kansas City plays this day. There's Kansas City here. So my early line right now, and I'm going to be changing a bunch of these. Deshaun Watson at quarterback with Dalvin Cook, Edmonds at running back as well, Tyreek Hill, Chad Hansen of Houston, and I mean, Houston's just losing all their receivers. I'm just pairing these shitty receivers with Deshaun Watson. I mean, 4,231 lets me pay for Dalvin Cook, lets me pay for Tyreek Hill, lets me pay for Hawkinson and Corey Davis even as well, who are pretty okay priced as well. But that's not what we're looking. That's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Adam Trotman, whoever this guy is. Now, why is he not coming up? Okay, well, yeah, he's coming up. Right here, that's where he is. I'm trying to think, this comes up in a different way. So that's what he looks like. He's a white tight end, but most tight ends are. He looks relatively young, but that means nothing. It's all about the statistical numbers that he can put in. Although, if you can get a tell on a person and how they look, for how they can play, then it can mean a lot. But other than that, it pretty much means nothing. 12 catches, 121 yards, 15.1 average per game, 1 touchdown, 3.8 fantasy points per game. Okay, this last game, I unfortunately have to increase the size of this, so it's going to look it's going to look different. And I'm going to reduce the size again. All right, so last game, 1 catch, 1 target, 12 yards. Then before that, 3 receptions, 3 targets, 9 yards. And then 8 yards. He catches 1 ball a lot, 19-39-0. I don't want to give too much work. I'm more for the earlier stuff. He's getting a little bit of action in there, but it is really little bit. What could I read about this? And this can be important information in here as well. Let me just read it so you can read it. Totman caught his lone target for 12 yards in the Saints' 24-21 loss to the Eagles on Sunday. Jared Cook has apparently been revived as a veteran tight end has scored in each of his last 2 contests. Let's take a look at Jared Cook then. As a result, Trotman remains a second-string option and a player best suited for dynasty rosters. So basically, I'm not getting anything to say that he's going to be going up on the pecking order amongst the New Orleans depth chart. So what's been the case with Jared Cook? It's $3,400 to buy on DraftKings. And again, I'm going to have to do. I'll pause the screen to do it this time. And within each game here, he really he hasn't had any injuries this year. He's just been. He's kind of. I mean, what was going on here for like not only 3 games, but even this game, only 2 or 3 on targets for 30 yards. And then only, not counting week 1, everything but. And even this wasn't the greatest of weeks. He's starting to possibly show signs of turning things back online, and I mean he's going on with Taysom Hill, a quarterback as well too. But let's just see what Jared Cook's numbers look like here, because he's got touchdowns in each of his last 2 games. He's got 6 on the season. He had 3 consecutive weeks in a row and 4 to 5 earlier. So he is a little bit of a red zone threat. So let's keep that in mind when we're looking at maybe some of Jared Cook's odds. Long reception, 16.5. Receiving yards, 31. Oh, that's a decent sized number for him, I think. It's either under or pass on that one. Receptions, 2.5. Man, that's just, again, under or pass. But I might be thinking over on the touchdowns if it's a low number. Okay, let's just think of the math. How often should Jared Cook be getting a touchdowns? I mean, it's almost a 50-50 spot. In a 16-game season, if you get like 9-10 touchdowns, you're pretty much going to touchdown a game. Because if you get 10 in 16 games, a few times you're going to get multiple touchdowns a game. So you should have, 8 of those 16 games would probably say 0. So yeah, plus 129. I mean, if anything, fair price might be like plus 115 or 120. So I'd be like, yeah. What's the story with Le'Veon Bell lately coming here in Kansas City now? Yeah. I mean, it's probably going to be hard to find value where it's going to be anything to bet on a lot of these things. See, a lot of it is if you've got information on a particular player, oh, it looks pretty good. I mean, when I did the Green Bay stuff, I was just looking at all the players on the Saturday game. I just happened to get fluked to see how the matchup on the Robert Tonyan looked good. So I looked at Tonyan's numbers and hey, this looks good. Then I looked further at the defensive matchup and it got even better and better after that too. Anyway, I'm going to pause it and then take a look at his game logs. And actually, so like, but did he come in week 7? How long has he been in Kansas City for? What week number did he come in anyway? At least the last 4 weeks. As far as rushing the ball, 2 for 21. He's got 1 touchdown here against Vegas, but 21, 40, 22. He's getting like 2 catches a game. 10, 15 yards, so he's getting, 12, 13 yards. Like he's been showing his average like 12 or 13 yards catching the ball, which isn't too much. He did a lot better. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger at one point gave him a lot better catching yards at one point. And he really is a backup running back to Hilaire anyway. I mean, maybe you know information where Hilaire's not going to get much action and he's going to get stepped in more and somehow you know this and you can just get easy over bets if you know that. But let's just take a look at what the lines are. 9.5 only. Okay, I was thinking 12. But 2 catches or more. And rushing yards at 16.5. I don't want to touch really any of that stuff. Nothing for Taysom Hill rushing yards, eh? Okay. Travis Kelce is just amazing. Like, what am I supposed to get? Like 80 receiving yards or something? Yeah, 85. The guy is just a beast. 6.5 catches for 85.5 yards, 25.5 long. I mean, Traquan Smith, anything in here? Not really. I don't even know much about... Tyreek Hill's a big player, too. 78.5 receiving yards for him. 26.5 yards. Patrick Mahomes. 26.5 completions. Minus 159. I've seen just a lot of fluke interceptions. I think Mahomes threw like one that was like on Sammy Watkins or somebody else. I can't remember which receiver was the victim of it. 40.5 for his longest completion. Like 40 pass attempts. That seems about right. That's just a big number. 15.5 rushing yards, 320 passing. $4,208 passing yards this season. Well, he's averaging 323 a game. And he's averaging 19 rushing yards per game. And as far as the game log is concerned, 9, 26, 28, 16, 6, 0. Now, what's up with these zeros? He had a 0 game against the Jets and a 0 game against Denver. Nine, 26, 18, 16. That's... Wow, that's a low number on the total. Now, minus 125. It's good to know the VIG number on that. So that means you have to go 25 and 20 to break even. That's one we have to look at it that way because there's just a little bit of juice amongst it. But is this a type of spot where it's way more than 25 out of 45 times that Patrick Mahomes amongst the variant should get at least 16 rushing yards? The one thing I want to take a look at maybe is the New Orleans defense against rushing quarterbacks. Let's take a look at the Saints defense. Who have we been... So let's just take a look who the Saints have played against and then take a look at how the quarterbacks have been, at least the running quarterbacks. And Jalen Hurts got him pretty bad last week. I know that right off the bat in week 14. Jalen Hurts got about 100 rushing yards on him. Denver, Atlanta, Matt Ryan, no. On that line, 2 out of 3 weeks. San Francisco, Tom Brady, there's a running quarterback. No. Justin Herbert, he's more of a passing guy. See, this defense really hasn't been around quarterbacks that know how to run too much. And that could have been a victim they shot from that Philadelphia thing. There could be some value here in taking Patrick Mahomes to go over that rushing number. Just out of curiosity, though, that's... Who could... That San Francisco one, Jimmy Garoppolo, he's still not much of a running quarterback, though. But anyways, that's definitely a play where I think that is worth considering. What else do we got here? Unfortunately, I don't think of anything off the bat of something that would be like... let's take a look at some Nick Chubb props, maybe. Anything offhand of something like, oh my goodness, this is a great... This guy or it's got a great or amazing player fade spot, whatever. Or amazing player, amazing fade. Now, I got to think that the weather is going to be pretty nasty in New York because Cleveland's attracted to horrible weather this year. I'm sarcastically kidding. I haven't seen the weather. And actually, where I'm from, which is the Lake Ontario area, the weather's supposed to be pretty good. So we should be pretty good in the Atlantic area for the weekend, I would think. But I don't know. Baker Mayfield. See, one thing I'm thinking about Baker Mayfield is if he gets some good weather, statistics are going to show that he's actually better than what his statistics show. But when you got all the great the running game with Hunt and the other running back, Kareem Hunt and the good one, Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is the real deal. One of my mistakes, I'm thinking, I knew last year he was the real deal, so I should have gave him more credit earlier on when he was kicking ass. Where's his passing yards? Right here. 224. Oh, this is Sunday night. I'm going to have to go somewhere else to find this, I think. I don't have the Sunday lineup in yet, so I'm going to have to just go into one of the game spots where it is. And I can do that with the showdown in here too. You just go find the game that I'm looking for, which is the Cleveland game. Where's Cleveland? Right here. And I'll just take whatever random game. I'm not going to play it. I'm just going to bring up. Well, not this time anyway. Okay, so who are we looking at? We're looking at Baker Mayfield, I think, is it? Yeah, Baker Mayfield, 225. We have, let's take a look at his game log. Yeah, I mean, 343, 334, 258 in each of those games. 204, 132, 122, 297, 119, 247. You figure right off the bat, 225, 4 consecutive weeks in a row, he didn't get to that number. And then he hit 2 out of 3, but then he failed for 3 more. So 4 to 6 he missed. And now 3 consecutive he's hit. He did so against a pretty terrible Jacksonville team in Baltimore, man, Tennessee. And if you're looking at this, you're looking at a possible play. How about over the total? I mean, these guys are playing some high-scoring games. Especially if Nick Chubb can come out and really just kick some ass. And Nick Chubb, what do we got out of him here? This guy has just been fantastic. His last game, we'll take a look at a game log here. And Nick Chubb, 82, 80, 144, 114, 126 since week 10. In rushing yards. He gets a touchdown in all but one of those weeks. Catching the ball. Doesn't really catch too much. 2 of 21, 1 for 26, 2 for 32. But you can just see his average here. 4.8, 4.4, 7.65. I mean, this guy is most certainly someone. I really got to take a look here at this New York Giant run defense here and see. And just the whole defensive thing. Covers used to be so amazing at it. They're not quite as good as they used to. So I'm going to probably take a quick look at covers on that as well. But 224, there could be some value in over the total, which means maybe there's some good receiving valuable too. Let's take a look at Nick Chubb here. So we take a look at the stats. Receiving 7.5. That's a pretty low number. Minus 130, but still. 7.5 receiving yards. Wow. And better than even money for 2 catches. I mean, 21, 26, 32. He had nothing against Philly. Nothing against Houston. So 3 out of 5 and 3 in a row. He's hit that receiving yard number. Okay, rushing touchdown. And look at this. You're getting even odds. Pretty much, plus 104 on the yes for him to get a touchdown. Now, as mentioned just recently before, if a guy can get 9-10 touchdowns in a 16-game season, then would you not want to play that? I mean, if he's better than that? When you look at some of the great backs, there's been some backs that get you 12, 14, 16, 18, even like especially Sean Alexander and some great backs in the past, 18, 20 touchdowns in the season. Does he seem to be that kind of guy? 73, that's a decent sized number at 73.5. Okay, who's this? Let's just take a look at some of these Cleveland receivers. Who are the ones that are getting the points? Okay, so we got Jarvis Landry. He had 9 catches for 52 yards last game. And he's got 728 on the season. Higgins had 68 last game. And let's take a look at his game log stats. And 2 decent games in a row. 6 of 10 for 68, 6 of 9 for 95. He's getting decent targets as well, like 9 and 10 targets like this. He's got a touchdown in each of those games. And he never really was targeted much up, but everything changed week 13 against Tennessee. So let's read what he has to say in here. Higgins' performance was highlighted by his 21-yard touchdown on 4th and 4 to begin the fourth quarter. A lot of 4s there. That play not only gave Higgins a score in consecutive games, but also helped him put together a second straight 6-catch outing, with at least 65 yards in 3 of his last 4 appearances as well. Higgins is growing in importance as the regular season comes to its conclusion. He'll aim to keep trending in the right direction in Week 15 versus the New York Football Giants. Well, of course, they didn't say New York Football, but yeah, you get the idea. So, just quickly, without looking at other information, the Giants are a bad team overall, too. That you'd have to think that this guy should be in line for another 60-yard gain as a decent-sized possibility. Which is his draft? 8,200. He's so expensive on DraftKings. I was going to say, how much is he on DraftKings for me to play? But he's going to be hard to play at that price. Actually, no, it's Showdown. 8,200. That's still not cheap. So then, let's take a look at Higgins' number. $73.5. That's a decent sized number. 3.5 catches. That's Nick Chubb. No, receptions. 21.5 long. There's just no. I just don't see total yards for him. It's just the only choices they got. So 4 catches or more. Yeah, no, I don't think I'd want to. Don't really think I'd want to go after that one. So who else do we have that can catch the ball for Cleveland? Austin Hooper. Questionable. What's it say on his questionable? The Austin Hooper put in full practice Friday. It wasn't enough for him to enter the weekend minus an injury destination. The Browns may have just deemed Hooper questionable, and this is so last 3-4 years of precaution. I love it, though. It's what you're supposed to do. On his neck issue to prevent him. So, yeah, it looks to me as if this doesn't mean anything. He's going to play. And the questionable can actually add an advantage because people will be scared to play him, especially the early people, like people that put their lineups in before 9 a.m., 10 a.m. on Sunday morning. Or actually, really, 11:30 even. Actually, for this game, well, this is a showdown game, but you get the idea. Last game, he only had 2 catches for 24 yards. So, I mean, what kind of numbers are we looking at for him? Heck, they don't even have Austin Hooper in here. So I guess that would be it for that game. But no, Giants defense. Let's go to covers.com. So we'll go to this website, go to NFL. And I know it's Sunday night, so it's at the bottom. Let's look at the matchup in here and take a look at it. See what we can get for statistics. So, passing. So this is the New York Giants defense that we're looking at here. So right off the bat, the Giants allowing 342 yards a game, which is barely below the league average of 356. Rushing yards 101 versus 117. That's total yards at 356. So passing yards, they're right at the league average, 241 versus 239. And then we have, I might want to take a look at some past Giant box scores, maybe the last couple of games or so. QB rating, 89.9 is the, which isn't pretty decent in modern day, I would think. Okay, do we have last three on here? Yeah, okay. It's an easier way to look at it, I suppose. So we got, there's passing yards. Yeah, what am I? Wow, 187 the last three games? What's up with that? How in the world is it so low? Okay, let's take a look at the teams they were playing. Where's their last games? So this is Cleveland, okay. Arizona. That was up against Kyler Murray. And they lost 26-7 in that game. And then Russell Wilson before that. So they got good quarterbacks. Kyler Murray, 24 of 35, 244 yards and a touchdown. How did Edmonds do? 7 of 32. Kenyon Drake's 23 of 80. I don't see anything. Well, there's no intercept. I don't see anything that was really bad of all things, but I mean, it was just good on the running game. Question is, Cleveland got that running game to an exceptional level, so let's take a look at that for purposes of Kareem Hunt. Drake got a touchdown against him. Let's go to the game before that, Seattle. And they have some pretty, like who, Chris Carson at running back, Homer. Okay, where's the stats for players? Russell Wilson, 27 of 43. How do we get 180 rush passing yards? What was the game before that, apparently? How are they averaging that? Anyway, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Chris Carson. They didn't run for a touchdown, but these are... In fact, there's not even a homer run this game. Carlos Hyde was back, but... I mean, passing doesn't seem anything. 43 attempts, too. I mean, that 225 is such a low number, though. I kind of think the Baker Mayfield over yards might be the play. And then when you get to a play, does it become a premium play, regular play, stuff like that? Meaning, do I want to bet it light? Do I want to bet it moderate, aggressive, stuff like that if I'm going to bet it? Well, Cincinnati, they got terrible quarterbacks. Joe Burrow out, probably. I mean, that might be the big reason why. And Baker Mayfield, I know he's not spectacular, but he's a better quarterback, I think, anyway. Brandon Allen, 136 yards. Gio Bernard, 8 of 32. Okay, how about before that? How about against Philadelphia and Carson Wentz? Oh, what a... Let me guess, Wentz threw an interception or two. He does every game. I can't remember offhand. Oh, he didn't. Wow. This defense looks as average as can get to me for the most part on the New York Giants side, which to me I think is an upgrade given where they've been and where they were supposed to. Okay, let's see here in Washington. What do we have here? Alex Smith, 24 of 32 for 325, 1 and 3. Oh, 3 picks they got that game. Did he get injured that game or something? Allen 5 of 7, or did yeah? Allen get injured and then Smith come in. I remember. I thought that happened at one point. They weren't able to run the ball that game. Against Tom Brady and company. 279 yards for Brady. Yeah, see, to me, I think a lot of this average that has made this Baker Mayfield passing number get to such a low 224. And pass attempts at 29.5. Let's take a look at some of these other rushing yards, 5.5. The over 1.5 plus 112. I don't want to touch that one. I don't want to touch that. Rushing yards at 5.5 for Baker Mayfield. This is Austin Hooper. (23-5-1-9-1, 29-1-5), and his attempts 47, 33, 29, 22, 20, 25, 28. Yeah, 29 on the high end. I think I think this 224 number where it might be where to attack it from. How much is no completions? No, long completion 34.5 is. Oh, you'd have to look at your matchup big on that one to see if that's worth going at. But does it have a long on here? Yeah, 37, 75, 27, 43. What's the target number? 35 or more? Or 34 or less, whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's a pretty accurate number. I kind of like over 225, though. Let's take a look at Baker Mayfield, his previous season. Although, because if he's at least that good, it's looking like a strong bet. Okay, so this is Baker Mayfield's Roto Football Reference website. So if we take a look at maybe, let's take a look at game logs from previous years, maybe. Okay, let's. So within his starts last year, where's the yards one? Right here. So 285. Let's see how many times you got. 325, 342, 249, 273, 238. We have a 327, a 247, and a 269. So 2 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 3, 4 and 4, 5 and 5 on the 194, 6 and 6. Man, he was an every other guy type thing. 7 and 7, 9 and 7. 9 of his 16 games, he got over that number. So now when you look at safer value, what's the likelihood that he's going to get it done? And let's just do some mathematics and figure out maybe like how you would value a play like that. Let's just assume you say, oh, it's 63% he's going to do it. I mean, if that's the case, that's probably going to work out damn good. If you're betting minus 120, that means you're going to be risking 12 to win 10. So we'll assume that 60% even. If you bet 10 times, you're going to win 6 units. And then the 4 times you lose 1.24 times, that's 4.8. I mean, I could use the calculator to tell me that, but 1.2 would be what you would make. And I might even use the calculator because 1.2 divided by 10 is like basically a 12% edge is what you'd be expecting. If you expected that there was a chance to, for 225 or more. Of course, check the weather. Let's do that. Let's check the weather. And let's see what we got here. Wind is the big one. Wind is the big one. I don't think this is the one that I was looking for. I think this is. think this was a better one than I've had in the past. Yeah, that's what I'm used to. So in here, I mean, it's possible light rain in the Seattle-Washington game, but light rain is meh. Wind is the big one, and I got to see this number closer to 20. So it doesn't look too windy on Sunday. As far as the Cleveland Giants game, 34 degrees Fahrenheit, which is pretty much freezing. Or about almost there, maybe 1 degree Celsius. No wind. Oh, this wind looks very, very favorable. Drizzle is like, yeah, that's not. I think the over is safe. The over 225. Let's see this. Anyway, I'm gonna have to. This is a long video. Came up with a few plays, and I mean, I didn't even. Like I say, to look at everything, I've only looked at a few of the games that are out there. I mean, Jacksonville, Chicago, there's just so much more. Just trying to think quickly if there's anything else. Pittsburgh's been underwhelmingly a little bit. Yeah, not as good lately. That's in the upcoming week. These are look-ahead lines. Seattle, Washington, Philly, Zona. I've already went through that one. Atlanta, Tampa. Anyway, take care. Bye-bye.